Okay, so I'm going to go through the answers for this particular set of questions, which was set on the 22nd of April. Some of them you will have found easy, some you will have probably found a little bit more tricky, but hopefully we can talk through the answers quite quickly. So question 1, we're actually looking at this problem, 3,000 plus 30. You could easily do this in your head, but if you wanted to, then literally just write it down. Make sure your place value is correct, and you have simply got 3,030. The next question does take a little bit more work. Now, what you can actually see is this is very nearly 1,500, and this is very nearly 60. So you could do 1,500 plus 60, which would give you 1,560, and then take the extra one off now from both sides. But for most of you, I think what you would have probably done is simply written it down as a place value calculation. 9 add 8 gives me 18. 9 add 1, make sure you do this first. 9 add 1 gives you 10. Add the 5 gives you 15. 4 add 1 gives you 5. And then 1 in the thousands column. So you've got 1,558. Next one, we're actually looking at this. Now, this is a place value question. So 511. Now, the reason I've written it out as big as that is to show you actually where we're looking at. This one here is that 1 in that column there. The 500 is the 5 in that column there. So what have we got missing? We've actually got a 1 missing there. However, that isn't a 1 because it's 1 in the tens column. So therefore, that needs to be one lot of 10, which is what they're checking on. Okay, next page. So we're looking at, again, it's a place value problem. So I've got the answer of 554. That 4 is the 4 that's there. So what am I left with? It looks like 55, but it's not because that's a hundreds column, that's my tens column. So my answer for that one would be simply 550. This one here, there's a couple of ways you could have done it. You could have done 6 times 50. So you could do 6 times 5 gives me 30, so that would give me 300. Take away one lot of 6 would give you 294. I'm guessing the way that most of you would have done it would be 49 multiplied by 6. 9 times 6 gives me 54. 4 times 6 gives me 24. Excuse me, I've written that down wrongly, haven't I? Okay, let's go back. We all make mistakes. Try again. Okay, 9 times 6 gives me 54. That makes more sense. 4 times 6 gives me 24. Add the 5 gives me 29. So my answer would be 294. Okay, this one, again, next question is all about your place value. So I've got 5.66 add. Make sure your decimal point is clear. 5.062. They're checking to see if you line things up correctly. So 2 add nothing gives me 2. 6 add 6 gives me 12. Carry the 1 or exchange the 1. 6 add 1 gives me 7. There's my decimal, it hasn't moved. 5 add 5 gives me 10. So my answer was 10.722. Okay, this page actually is a nice straightforward page. So how many ones have I got in 110? I've got 110. You can all do that one in your head. 10 divided by 5, you should all be able to do is 2. Oops, Daisy, I've left on my screen. And this one is the one that will, lots of people, I can guarantee people will have put 273. But actually, 273 times nothing gives me nothing. Okay, I've got no lots of 273, so your answer for that one is 0. Okay, 99 divided by 1, again, you should all have got this is 99. Right, now this one, again, most of you should have been able to do in your head, but if you chose to write it as column subtraction, then that's absolutely fine. But I'm guessing most of you did that one in your head. Now this one, you've got to think your way around the problem. What am I being shown? Okay, now I can use inverse here, so I can actually say 977, take away something gives me 772. Actually, I can say, well, if I take the 772 away from 977, that will give me that. So I'm going to do that one, 772. So 7 take away 2 gives me 5. 7 take away 7 gives me 0. 9 take away 7 gives me 2. Double check it. So if I do 977 take away 205, do I reach 772? 7 take away 5 gives me 2, 7 take away 0 gives me 7, 9 take away 2 gives me 7. Yes, I've got the right answer. Make sure you write the right answer in that box. Okay. 4,936 divided by 8. They deliberately didn't give you the setup, but this is what you should have been doing. 8 into 4, don't go. You can write a 0 or leave it blank. So 8 into 49 now goes 6. 6 8 to 48, leaving me with 1 left over. 8 into 13 goes 1 with 5 left over. 8 into 56 goes 7 times with nothing left over. So my answer is 617. Now, this is the one where you may have had a disagreement with your parents about how to do it, because when we were at school, we were told to do it differently. Okay, we're multiplying by 10. The decimal point does not move. Excuse me. So everything, we are shifting everything one place. I've got 1 0 there. It's going to go one place to the left because it's getting one space bigger. So it becomes 926.5. Okay, 926.5. Your parents will have been taught that slightly differently. They'll have been taught to bounce the decimal point along. We do it differently now. We move the numbers. The decimal point is a fixed point. Okay, you will still get to the same answer. It's just a different way of doing it. Okay, this is BODMAS. Hopefully most of you recognised it. So the B in BODMAS is brackets. So that's the first thing I have to do. I have to do my brackets first. So 65 subtract 64 gives me 1. Then I'm going to carry on and do the same calculation. So 31 divided by 1 gives me 31. So that's nice and easy. Okay, 4 cubed. Remember, it's not 4 times 3. It's 4 times 4 times 4. Now what I would suggest you do is you do it in steps. So 4 times 4, we're going to do this bit first. So 4 times 4 gives me 16. And then I'm going to multiply it by the 4. So 16 times 4. 6 times 4 gives me 24. 1 times 4 gives me 4. Add the 2 gives me 6. So my answer for that question is 64. Okay, 303 times 1,000. A lot of you will have been able to do this one in your head, but again, this is all about your place value. So I'm going to shift things 3 places to the left. Decimal point does not move. So this 0 here is going 1, 2, 3. So my 0 ends up there. Everything follows on. So you should have had 303,000. Okay. Now this one, the number 18, you should have been able to do in several different ways. You could divide by 100 and then times by 40. That would get you to the answer. But the simplest way of doing it is to find 10% first. Now, if we're finding 10% of 5,000, I'm just simply going to divide by 10. So 5,000 divided by 10 gives me 500. Now, I'm not looking for 10%, I'm actually looking for 40%. So I've now got to make that 4 times bigger. So I'm going to do 40% is 500 times 4. Okay, so 500 times 4 should be able to do that in your head. 2 lots of 500 will give you 1,000, so 4 lots will give you 2,000. Okay, this was the one we said not to do. We also said not to do that one because for some reason the person who wrote this paper got it completely wrong. Now, we're going to do this question here. So this is another place value question. So 5.1 divided by 100. So, okay, it's going to get smaller. We're going 2 places to the right. Okay, so this is going, that 5 is jumping 2 places. 1, 2. So my 5 is going to be there, the 1 will be there. Now remember, this position here, I need to show it, and I can't just say point, so I have to put 0. So your answer would be 0.051. Okay, this one was nice and straightforward. We've actually got the same denominator on here, so we don't need to worry about the denominator. So I'm saying 1 7/4 minus 4/4 give me 1 3/4. Now, hopefully, everybody here spotted the mistake there. You can't have that. So actually, it shouldn't have been written like that at all anyway. It should have been written as 2 3/4. Okay, so actually, again, the writer did make a mistake on this particular paper. I think it's an automatically generated one, so they've made an error there. But your answer was 1 3/4. Okay. Now, there's a couple of ways you could have done this. You could have done this mentally by timesing it by 100 and then taking off another 676, but we're going to do it the long method. Now, hopefully, if I make it nice and big, so it makes it easier for me to write in. 6 times 9 gives me 54. 7 times 9 gives me 63. Add the 5 gives me 68. 6 times 9 gives me 54. Add the 6 gives me 60. Now, just to make it easier for me to actually write on, I'm going to rub those bits out. So remember, place my 0 to show I'm not using my column anymore and cross that through to show I have finished with that. Now, 6 times 9 gives me 54. You're going to see the same sort of numbers coming again. 7 times 9 gives me 63. Add the 5 gives me 68. 6 times 9 is 54. Add the 6 gives me 60. Okay, so we've got exactly the same digits, just in different columns. Okay, and then we're just going to add it through. So 4 add 0 gives me 4. 8 add 4 gives me 12. 8 add 0, add the 1 gives me 9. 6 add nothing gives me 6. 6 add nothing gives me 6. So you should have 66,924. Okay, whoops, my finger wrote that. Right, okay, so we're now looking at this one. 6/9 add 5/4. Now we do have to get these over the same denominator. So the lowest common denominator that I can think of is going to be 36. So we put them both over the same common denominator. So what have I done to that 9 to turn it into 36? I've multiplied it by 4. So whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 6 times 4 gives me 24. What have I done to that 4 to turn it to 36? I've multiplied it by 9. So whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 5 times 9 gives me 45. So now I can do the calculation. So what is 24 add 45? Okay, 4 add 5 gives me 9. 2 add 4 gives me 6. So my answer is going to be 69/36. Now that is an acceptable answer. That would have got it through. However, those of you who went on to simplify it could actually say how many 36s are there in 69. Well, I'm fairly sure there's only one. Now I'm going to do 69, take away 36 just to see, and that leaves me with 33. Okay, so I've got 1 and 33 over 36. That would be an acceptable answer. What you can also do is simplify it a bit further, because I know that 3 goes into 33 and it goes into 36. So I can actually say 1 and 11/12 just by dividing by 3. Any of these 3 answers are acceptable. If you got those, then you got the answer right. And that is the end of that paper.